Hey everybody, I'm Bueller from Comics with Bueller, and this is
Bob from Everything Comics.
And you're watching Comic Book Addicts.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Comic Book Addicts. Bob and Bueller in the intro. Did anybody get to see the Coffee and Comics this morning? The special that Bob and Bueller did this morning. It's kind of a rarity to get to see those two get together and do the Coffee and Comics, but we got an episode this morning and it was awesome. So that's why I decided to open with that intro there with Bob and Bueller. And how's everybody doing? Comic Book Addicts episode 63. It's Monday, April 15th, the start to a brand new week. I hope your week is going well. I think it's been a little bit better of a week this week than it was last week, so that's good. We had a couple of really good things happen this week. We had X-Men 97. Everybody's been talking about that. I'm pretty sure that's been the talk of the week so far, is the X-Men 97. Man, that was so awesome. Did you guys check it out? Did you have a chance to watch episode 5 of X-Men 97 yet? Because if you did not, prepare yourself for an amazing episode. I enjoyed episode 4 a lot because it had the Mojo and the Mojoverse and Spiral and a lot of really cool characters. But man, this one was incredible. This one just absolutely takes the cake. It's the best episode by far so far. But that's, I feel like, the talk this week. But it's Monday night lineup. We got everybody's going tonight. Izzy's back this week. It all kicks off with Izzyverse and his comic book weekly pull list over at Izzyverse NYC. He did a good live stream covering the Hot 10 list. Then, of course, we got Comic Book Addicts. We got a great guest tonight coming back for the second time to talk more about Kingsville. He dropped issue 2 recently. My buddy Thomas Holes. He's also a comic book collector and toy collector. So I want to talk about all that stuff. Between the Lines is at 8:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Geek Out with Roscoe. It's going to be on his channel, of course. And he's going to have special guest Norrin Rad, who is an amazing artist. Then we got 22 Comics bringing us his top 10 alternatives every week on his live stream. If you've never checked it out, he gives us his alternative picks to the Hot 10 list, and he comes up with some pretty cool stuff, really interesting stuff. And then my homie William Cupo Comics does Monday Night Raw Books, community hangout, just a good time over on his channel, and that's at 10 p.m. this evening. So a whole evening full of awesome live streams, and be sure to check them out. A lot of really good ones going on tonight. Let's see what we got in the chat this evening. So we got Las Cruces as usual. First, he says hooray and woohoo. I appreciate you coming out, Las Cruces. He says hello from New Mexico. What's up, man? Hello from Chattanooga. I hope you're doing well this evening. We got Vogs. He says hi, Scotty. What's up, Vogs? Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing well this Monday. Really nice Monday here in Chattanooga. Hope it's nice where you guys are at. We got Marcus, my comic book brother, Marcus Circumstances. He says, what's up, homies? Me and him got some pretty cool stuff in the works on down the road. Still fleshing out the details, so I can't talk about it yet. But some big stuff if it all works out. We'll talk about it soon, hopefully. We got Wellbore saying, hello, hey, fellas, lurking and working. I appreciate you coming out, bro. I really do, man. God, what was it? There was something else that I was wanting to talk about, it seems like, and I'm forgetting. Oh, well, it'll come back to me. We got 23 Monch. What's up, man? He says, good evening, Svaughn82. What's up, dude? We got a great live stream. We got an awesome guest. Like I was saying before, Kingsville 2 dropped. I've read issue 1. I haven't read issue 2 yet, but issue 1 was awesome. Really enjoyed it. And I wanted to have Thomas back to talk to him about that. So I'm going to bring him out in just a minute. But first, I wanted to jump into a segment that I started last week. Uh-oh. Hold on. Clear that out real quick. First, I wanted to jump into a segment that I started last week. I apologize, guys. By the name of YouTube Polls, where I post every week. I post a couple of polls to YouTube, and they're all comic book related. And I ask you guys different questions about cover art or new books that dropped that week, or just anything comic book related. But this week, I asked the question, Well, actually, I said it was a little bit of a lighter week this week in comics, but we still had some amazing covers. So I asked basically, out of these covers, which was your favorite? And I listed Rat City issue 1, the cover A, and that's by Zay Carlos. I hope I'm saying this correctly. Also, there was X-Men 97 number 1, or no, it was issue 2, and the beautiful David Mack cover. And there was Thundercats issue 1, the 3rd printing by David Nakayama. And last but not least, we had Batman First Night issue 2, a beautiful Furma cover. And I know I'm not saying that right, but I'm saying it the best I can. But anyways, out of 36 votes, the David Mack cover won. So cover of the week, X-Men 97 issue 2, the David Mack cover. Did that surprise any of you guys? It really didn't surprise me. I felt like that was a beautiful cover. So that one was definitely deserving of cover of the week. That was pretty cool. But the second poll that I did for my YouTube polls was about Ultimate X-Men. I wanted to see how you guys felt about this new Ultimate X-Men series. So I asked, this past new comic book day, we got issue 2 of Ultimate X-Men. In this issue, we got introduced to Maystorm. This series is different, that's for sure. My question for you guys, are you currently enjoying the Ultimate X-Men series? And we got 22 votes. And I asked, I told anybody that commented that I would feature the comment as well. And out of the 22 votes, 77% said I'm enjoying the series so far. So actually people are enjoying it so far. So they're still riding with the series. And 23% said not my X-Men. And we got a comment by Cliff NY, and he said it's not exactly what I was looking for, but I do enjoy it. And my opinion of the series pretty much reflects that. I do enjoy it so far. It's obviously not your typical X-Men series, but I knew it wasn't going to be, coming from Peach Momoko. And but anyways, let's see who we got. See if we got anybody else in the comments before I bring out our guest. We do. We got Collecting with Durs. What's up, man? He says, look at these pimps and legends. What's up, Adam? I hope you're doing well this evening. We also got Dr. Von Hoot dropping in. He says, evening all. What's up, Hoot? I hope you're doing well over there in England, wherever. I forget what part. Drop where you're at exactly in the comments because I forget, but I hope you're doing well wherever you're at, Hoot. We got Comic Cap Collectibles saying hello all. What's up, Scotty? What's up, Comic Cap? Thanks for coming out, man. But anyways, let's bring out the guests. We got an awesome guest this week. The guest this evening is a comic book collector, a podcaster, a writer, a creator who just put out issue 2 of his series Kingsville. And he's also one of the dopest toy collectors that I know. Y'all help me welcome back for the second time, Thomas Holes, to the live stream. What's up, dude?
How you doing, man? Good to be with you again. Love your show, bro.
Dude. So glad to have you back. How have you been, man? It's been about 9 months since you were here the last time. How have you been the past 9 months? What's been going on?
Pretty good, man. You know, collection's getting bigger. Wife's getting angrier. Issue 2 is out. You know, all those good stuff, man.
Well, everything sounds good except for the wife getting upset.
That's all good, man.
But man, for anybody that didn't see the last time that you were here, that may not have seen that last episode, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where do you currently reside, and what do you do?
Yeah, so I live in Southern California near Palm Springs. Been here my whole life. Born and raised in San Bernardino, but I live in Palm Springs now. But yeah, man, everything's been going good. Working on issue 3 as we speak, but we were able to release issue 2 of Kingsville in I believe it was February. It shipped out, and It's been a lot of fun, man. Absolutely love writing. Love creating all these characters. Dan Zay is my artist, and I think he does a pretty bang up job. I think issue 2 is even better than issue 1. And obviously, the more you do, right, the better you get at it. So I feel like I'm starting to get into like second and third gear, man. It's been pretty fun.
Well, that's good to hear. I did read issue 1, like I was saying before, and I enjoyed issue 1. It was awesome. And the artwork was really good. I can say to anybody that's watching that hasn't checked it out, the inner artwork is awesome. It was definitely really cool. I haven't checked out the second issue yet, but I can't wait to check it out. But what was what was it like putting together the second issue? What was the process like putting that together and everything? Because you work a regular job as well, so you're probably you probably have a really busy life, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very fortunate. I'm a little bit older, so my kids are all adults. I have 4 children, but they're all
Okay.
18 and above. A couple of them live out of the house, so things have gotten a little easier because that responsibility isn't as great as it used to be. Which it's just my wife and I now, and so the freedom and the time is there to be able to handle a little bit more, which is pretty cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, everything's going good, man. As far as the process goes, I'm still working with the same artist, Dan. He's even working on issue 3 for me. I want to make sure, as far as the look and feel of the comic, it stays the same because I think
Cool.
nothing's weirder than going into a comic book and then getting issue 2 and you're like, that don't look like what I was reading before.
Yeah, sometimes I don't like that sometimes when it changes
Yeah,
up on you. Yeah,
yeah, I
sometimes
don't
it's a deal
think
breaker.
like it either, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that you got issue 2 going. And like I said, I can't wait to check it out. Are you happy with the finished product? Are you happy how it turned out?
I am, man. Issue 1, obviously there's always going to be things that you look back and go, man, I should have done this. I should have done that. I think every issue will be some of that, but issue 2 felt a lot more normal. And it felt like I was in more of a rhythm, especially
Mhm.
with Dan. He was pumping out pages left and right. I couldn't even keep up with him, which is nice to have, right? Because my
Yeah, of
artist
course.
lives in Europe. He lives in Russia. And so
Oh,
we
geez.
already have a little bit of a language barrier. And, I'm going to bed and he's waking up and all kinds of weird stuff. But it's all worked out so far. And it's been a lot of fun, man. He's 24 years old. And I think he's quite talented for his age. He did the cover on my main cover right here, which you should get anytime, Scott. But that's the main cover right
Awesome.
there. That's Death Day. So he hooked me up with that cover, which is
Dude,
pretty
that
nice.
is so cool. Hold on,
Yeah.
let me blow you up on the screen here so
Yeah.
we can check that out. Give me just a
Yeah, it came
second.
out really nice, I thought, man. And then the interior work, I think he did a pretty bang up job as well. There you
Here you
go.
go.
Yeah.
I saw that on I looked up Kingsville. I'd Googled it to check out some different info and stuff, and I saw that cover. And I was like, damn, dude, that is an awesome cover.
Yeah, it came out really nice, man. Here's a little bit of the interior right there.
Yeah,
That's
that
death.
looks really good.
Yeah,
That's an awesome panel right there, jumping out of the plane. That looks
yeah.
really good, man.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I'm enjoying where the story's going. Issue 3 is just going to be nuts, man. But issue 2 ended in a pretty unique way that I think will keep people excited and tied into the story. But
Well,
yeah, I'm really happy with Dan, man. Great
well,
job by him.
without giving away too much of the story or anything, what's the gist of the story for people watching that may be interested? What's it about?
Yeah, so if you read issue 1, you know that AGS, which is the Alliance for Global Safety, which is a nonprofit organization out to do good within the world. They're bringing nations together to help with trade, to help with safety, all these
Mhm.
great things. And they get their hands on this mineral that comes from an island nation called Kingsville. And that mineral is called psychedone. And when they bring it in-house and their science team starts to work on it, they realize this has properties that go far beyond anything that we thought it would. And eventually they find out that with this property, you could actually create a serum that gives you superhuman powers. And they start to test it and build a superhuman team. And all those nations that agree to join AGS, the Alliance for Global Safety, the
Mhm.
deal is we're going to put one of these superhumans in your nation to help you with safety and everything else that is needed within that nation. So on the outside, everyone's really excited. Each of these nations are really happy to have the help. But what they don't realize is AGS is actually using these superhumans to do some pretty nasty stuff. Kingsville is
Oh,
starting to get an idea about this. Rodrigo and Marissa, specifically Rodrigo, who are the 2 scientists at AGS that developed this serum, they're
uh-huh.
starting to question things that are going on. And Kingsville says, "Look, man, I'm not sure what you're doing with this. I don't like that you're gaining the type of power you're gaining, and we're going to cut you off from this mineral." And AGS doesn't take that very lightly, and they're not too happy about
Oh.
it. And so you'll start to see how they start to handle that. And then issue 3 just ramps up, and then issue 4 will be the end of that arc, and it's going to end in a crazy way.
Okay, yeah, and I was gonna ask you. I was leading up to. Let me switch the screen back. How there we go. I was actually gonna ask you where do you intend to go with the series? How far would you like to go? How far does your dream go with this Kingsville series?
Yeah, well, I wanted to kind of start off small, be super practical. Jumping into independent comics is more simple today than it's ever been before. So if you have a passion for stories and you want to tell your stories, it's much easier to find an artist to partner with, and a letterer and a colorist. You could go to like a Comic Wellspring or Kablam to print it. So it's the ease of getting into it is really good, but it's very difficult, right? It takes a lot of money up front. It's a lot of hard work. And so I wanted to be very practical, and it's a very crowded space. A lot of people are entering into comics right now, which is great as a collector. So I'm both sides of this world, right? I'm reading stories that I think are absolutely amazing in the independent world. So I'm loving it, but it is very crowded, which means, I want to be practical. So, I'm going to have a 4-part arc, and that arc will end this portion of the story. And then it'll go into a trade. And if people are enjoying it, then we'll continue it. So it'll be left open to continue. But right now, I'm just focused on that 4-part arc.
So, okay, awesome. Well, man, that's going to be cool. I can't wait to see it unfold. And I can't wait to get that issue 2, man. Like I can't wait to read that. Issue 1 was awesome. My favorite character, and I'm drawing a blank because we're live, and I always do this. What's the really big guy? The real big bulky guy. The guy on your hoodie. Yes, that's the man. That's my man right there.
Yeah, his name is Collapse. His name is David, and but his superhero name is Collapse. He's super big, very strong. But obviously, when you're that big, you're not too fast. But, his superpowers is strength. All of them have super strength, but his superpower is being able to collapse into a pool of liquid. And then he becomes quite fast. He could go under doors, up walls, all that good stuff. So, that's Collapse, man. He's definitely the fan favorite. I've actually sold out of issue 1, cover A, which has him on the cover, just because I think everyone's kind of falling in love with him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a badass. Yeah, he's
a badass, man.
He's really cool. Yeah, I like him a lot. There was something else I was going to ask you as far as. Oh, okay. For anybody watching that wants to check the series out, man, anybody wants to go pick it up, where can they find it at? Where can you find Kingsville at online?
Yeah, you could go to worldatwarcomics.com. You could purchase all the covers there, issue 1 and issue 2. You could go to TikTok and go to my TikTok page. I have a TikTok store. That's where most of my sales come from. I think it's just very easy for most people. And then on eBay, if you type in Thomas Halls, you'll see it pop up there, and you'll be able to purchase it there.
Awesome. So you guys heard it. Go check it out, because I can tell you issue 1 was pretty badass. It does not lack the action for an issue 1, because sometimes issue 1s, they don't have any action because you're building up. But it has plenty of everything, and it's a good story too. I enjoyed it. So you guys, if you want to check it out, you know where to go get it. And I noticed that you've been doing a lot of traveling here lately. I've been following you on IG because you're a cool ass dude. You're a toy collector like me. You collect comic books. We got a lot of similar things in common. So I enjoy checking out your IG, and I noticed you've been doing a lot of traveling lately. What you been up to, man?
Yeah, work takes me to a lot of places, which is really cool, because every time I'm in a different spot, I always have an afternoon where I hit as many comic shops as possible. So in Houston, I was hitting all kinds of comic shops. I would tell you, man, per capita, Houston has a ton of comic shops, man. It's awesome.
Really? I've never been to Houston. Never got to go.
You got to go, man. They're just cool, man. And I went into one, and I'm drawing a blank. It was a sci-fi comic shop. And so I thought it was going to be a lot of like Star Trek and Star Wars and Green Lantern, which there was plenty of that. But it was a very traditional comic book store, but it was huge, man. It must have been, maybe 1,800 square feet, like the size of someone's house. It was huge. And they had so many toys, man. I had a blast. They had a whole section of X-Men, some of the old Series 1 and Series 2 Marvel Legends. And it was awesome. They had another section of McFarlane, which I'm a big McFarlane collector. It was a blast. I was just sitting there looking and drooling everywhere. I just wish I had more money, man.
Yeah, it's hard too because I used to work on the road some back in the day, and it was hard because you're getting to see all these cool places and go to all these cool places, but you're having to keep reminding yourself that you're there on business and you're there to
Yeah.
make money, not to spend a bunch of money. It was hard at times.
Yeah, 100%, man. But I love seeing it. Comic culture, right? We all are participating in this comic culture. But you go to different regions in the U.S. and it's a little different everywhere. And I love that, man. I absolutely love it. It's so
What
cool.
what's your favorite shop in Houston? I'm not going to say the best shop, but what's your favorite shop?
It would have been that sci-fi shop. I'll send you the link as far as the name. I'll look at my receipts because I keep all my receipts for everything that I purchase because I have the podcast and everything else I do. So I use all my purchases as a tax write-off at the end of the year since it's my backdrop for my podcast. So there's all kinds of fun things that you could do in order to recuperate some of the stuff that you do on your collection. So I keep all my receipts. So I have a receipt and I'll get you the name. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but that sci-fi shop was dope, man. Incredible.
Yeah, that sounds good, man. You'll have to let me know. And you mentioned the podcast, which is awesome because I wanted to bring that up as well because I don't know how you get some of the guests that you get, but you guys that are watching, you got to check out his podcast. To just name off some of the people that you've had just in the last couple of months on your podcast. These guys that are watching, they're going to want to check it out, man, because he's got some amazing guests.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I've been very fortunate to get responses from quite a few people. I've had Todd McFarlane, Jeff Johns, Peter Tomasi, Francis Manipul, Tim Seeley. Man, I've had a lot. I'm trying to look. I had W. Maxwell Prince just recently for Ice Cream Man, which is such an amazing comic.
Yep.
I have Mark Silvestri coming on next month.
Cool.
Yeah, man, it's just been a lot of fun. Once you get one or two decent names, right, and then people are like, okay, I'll go check it out. And as long as you're positive, I think it's not that bad. And I keep everything positive, man. No doubt as a comic book collector, there's stuff that I read. I'm like, dude, that is not my thing. But instead of going online or on X and telling everybody how much I hated it, I just keep it to myself and I move on to the next thing because I have people that I follow and I'm friends with that like stuff I hate, man. And so I'm just like, I'm just gonna keep it to myself, stay positive. And so I think it allows creators and writers and artists to say, you know what, it feels like it's a pretty safe environment for me to go on, because he doesn't talk crap behind my back after I've had him on the podcast. So I think that helps as well, man. I just try to keep things positive, bro.
Awesome. And what do you typically talk about on is it like interview format?
Yeah, it is. For the most part, it's interview format. So the reason I started the podcast is because I wanted to be a creator and writer. I had a story. I wanted to create my own comic book. So I created the podcast to bring other creators and writers on so that way I could learn from them. And that's how it started. Tony Cottrell, from the owner of Advent Comics, was my first podcast I ever had. Genuinely great person, lives in Baltimore. And if you've never read Advent Comics, you need to get on that. I think he just celebrated his 15th anniversary. So he hasn't done this for a couple of days, man. He's been doing this for a long time. He's kind of OG, especially in that Northeast area. And I just learned a lot and I loved it. And so I just kept doing it. And then I was able to score like a Jeff Johns and a Todd McFarlane. And it just, I don't know, it's just been kind of a little bit of a domino after that. And I think people just trust that I'm going to, shine the light on the person that's on the podcast. And that's really all I do. It's not about me. It's about the person on. And hopefully everybody else gets to know those folks from coming on the podcast.
Man, that's so cool. Where can people check that out at? And when does the podcast happen?
So unlike yours, man, you're so organized, Scott, where you have like a timetable. I'm terrible, bro, because I work from home and I own my own business. I'm kind of all over the place. Yeah. So I just plug them in whenever I can. Most of my podcasts are pre-recorded and then I drop them onto YouTube whenever I'm done with those podcasts and I get time to kind of cut them up and make sure they look clean. So you just got to kind of follow me. I will always post when I drop a new interview. But yeah, I don't have like a set time, like every Friday at this time I'm going to have someone on, which if I was smarter, I probably would have done that. But also the flexibility, because I'm usually inviting folks that are pretty busy. It allows me that flexibility to kind of bring them on whenever it's best for them as well. Man. So
Very valid point. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. With people like that, you pretty much have to bend to their will, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah,
man,
if you
that
want 'em
makes
on, man,
total
I'm like,
sense.
I'll do whatever, man. I'll call off. I'll do whatever, man, to get some of those folks on.
Awesome, awesome. Um, what did you? I want to go back to your travels. Did you get to pick up anything at all when you were out traveling this past time? Did you pick up any cool toys or anything?
I did, man. So I'm a big Jonah Hex fan. If everybody's ever read Jonah Hex from DC Comics,
I never
um,
have. I've never checked it out, but I've seen the comics when I'm like out hunting and stuff. But
so
I've
good. I thought I had one laying right here. Maybe I
I've
don't. But
never read
anyway,
any of it though.
it's so fun, man. It's a blast. But I picked up an old DC Direct figure of Jonah Hex. I picked
Cool.
up Spider Spot, which is one of the newer Spider-Man, part of that Spider-Man package from Marvel Legends that they've been dropping all kinds of really cool figures. I picked up a bunch of comics, man.
Is he the one with the that shoots like projectiles from his hands?
Exactly. Yeah, he's like
too.
this.
I grabbed him.
Did you?
Yeah.
Dude, his
Yeah,
uniform is so dope, man.
It looks so good. Yeah, he's one of those online. He didn't look that impressive. He almost was like a skip to me online. And I saw it in person, was like, dude, I'm buying it. I'm getting it.
I did the same thing, man. I was like, I don't know about that one. And then I saw it, man. I'm like, nah, that's got to be in my collection, man.
That one's going home.
Yep, exactly. You're coming with me.
That's awesome, man. Well, as far as comics go this year, have you what are you collecting right now? What are you picking up any comics as of right now?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm a big Conan Barbarian. What's that? I'm sorry.
I said I know you're busy. That's why I said, are you picking up any?
Yeah. No, I'm definitely. I mean, the comics that I think are killing it this year is Jim Zub with Conan. If you're not reading Conan right now, under Titan Comics,
the Titan Comics run, yes,
next level, man. So good. Jeremy Adams, I think he's probably one of the best writers right now. Very young, up and coming. He worked for the WB and he did a lot of the animated series for DC before coming over to DC as a writer. And, obviously he had that awesome Flash run with Wally West. He's doing currently Green Lantern, which I think is next level, man. He's just killing it on Green Lantern. Philip Kennedy Johnson with Incredible Hulk. I'm collecting that right now. I think he's killing it. And then obviously War Journal with John Stewart. We were just talking.
Good?
What's that?
Is that still good? I haven't read that one in a while.
Still pretty good, man. I think he just dropped issue 7 was the last one that came out last week, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the story's good. And a lot of people don't realize Philip Kennedy Johnson and Jeremy Adams are pretty good friends outside of writing comic books. And now they're both on a Green Lantern property. And so you're going to start to see a lot of things happen between John Stewart and Hal Jordan. We're already seeing a lot of the other Green Lanterns come in, like Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz. Joe Mullen was in the last issue of Green Lantern. So they're bringing a lot of the Earth Lanterns together, and the story is just getting crazy good.
Man, that's cool. I haven't been on any of the Green Lantern runs in a little while, man. I'll have to find a jumping on point and get back on. But we were talking about before the live stream. You mentioned don't you have the writer of Beneath the Trees coming up on your podcast? Did you mention that?
Yeah, Patrick Horvath. He'll be on my podcast. We'll be recording tomorrow morning, and then it'll probably post the next day. So I have him. I have Ryan Caddy on after that, who writes with Top Cow and the Hunt.
Sorry, I didn't mean to just randomly jump back to that, but I just happened to think about us talking about that, and I know a lot of people that are watching right now are really into that book.
Dude, this guy, I met him at WonderCon. He was at WonderCon, and his line was ridiculous. Out of all the amazing people they had in Artist Alley, dude, his line was non-stop, man. Because if you're not reading that, which it sounds like all the folks in the chat are, dude, you're making a huge mistake. It'll blow your mind, man. So I have him coming on tomorrow, which is going to be a lot of fun. And I want to dig into like the type of a person that could come up with this storyline. Dude, it's crazy, man. I'm just like, dude, Patrick, everything okay, man, at home? Everything good with you, bro? Because this is insane, man.
Yeah, because my buddy Taylor Winder, for him to say that it's a great book, it has to be a phenomenal book. For Taylor Winder to say that it's as good as, but I've been trade waiting it. I'm waiting it out, and I'm going to pick up a really nice trade. And so I've been missing out, man. I feel like I've been missing out on it. Everybody's saying it's so good.
We just dropped issue 5. Issue 6 is coming up, and usually they go 5 or 6 issues. So the trade should be out in the next couple months for you, Scott. So you should be good, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up. I'm hoping.
No spoilers.
Yeah, I'm hoping they do like a really nice like deluxe version of it because it's such a cool book, and I'll pick up that. I'll get a really nice copy of it or something.
Yeah, that'd be dope, man.
Make it worth the wait.
Exactly.
Well, you collect toys.
I do.
On an insane level, dude. Like at probably, well, I say probably, yeah, far beyond me. You have a lot more than I do.
I have a few. I have probably about 500 or so between Marvel Legends, Marvel Select, and then all my McFarlane stuff. So yeah, McFarlane's definitely my number one. I love McFarlane. I think the quality of McFarlane outpaces everybody else. And then I like Marvel Select only because they're 7-inch, just like McFarlane. And then I have a lot of Marvel Legends too. But man, Marvel Legends, every morning I come in and I'm picking them up off the floor constantly, man. Especially the female figures with the high heels. Yes. How do you stand those things, man?
Yeah, if they fly, I'll try to make them. I'll put the females in flight if possible. Like if they have the ability to fly, they're gonna hang from floral wire, so I don't have to stand them up. That's my trick on those.
I think I might have to do that, bro, because it's so frustrating, man. I'm constantly picking them up off the floor. I'm like, dude, what I do is I take the discs that come with the McFarlane and I use those for some of my Marvel Legends because they're really hard to stand up. But I love them, man, because a lot of my favorite figures come from Marvel. So,
and that's one thing that I wish that that Hasbro would incorporate in the Marvel Legends that they do. They don't do the little base stands like McFarlane does with DC Multiverse. I wish they would do that though. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, it would. I would just be afraid how much more they would charge because Marvel Legends ain't cheap.
Oh my god,
like $30 now, and you could still get McFarlane for $19.99 at Target and Walmart. And I think it's better quality. Again, you're not getting all your favorite figures. That's why I keep buying Marvel Legends because I love Marvel too. But yeah, you're right, man. I wish they would put a little disc in there. I don't think it would cost that much.
Yeah, geez, yeah, you got me thinking though. They would probably tack on like an extra $5 for that little disc.
Marvel Hasbro definitely would, yeah.
But actually, I picked up Angel last week, which is probably the coolest one I've picked up recently, and it was actually a decent price point, dude. It was I think 35, but for that figure to see it in person, it was worth. I feel like it was worth that. Where a lot of them, I really honestly would have thought it would have been 50. But that one was actually decent,
50, right? Weren't they $49.99 at Target?
Which ones?
For Angel.
Oh, I don't know. I picked it up at GameStop.
Oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of another character because some of the Ghost Rider that was $44.99 at Target, man. I'm like, and the bike was just a red bike. I'm like, it's not even detailed.
Yeah, that one, it didn't have any articulation or anything. Yeah, that was crazy. That was a big pass.
Crazy. Yeah, that was definitely a pass, man. I'm like,
What's up, Pops? Thanks for stopping by. We got Stephanie, Madam Black. We got Madam in the house. I almost said Madam Blaster. She's just going by Madam now. So what's up, Madam? She dropped the blaster. What's up, Phil? What's going on, Phil? Welcome, guys. Had some people pop in.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I enjoy I really enjoy following you on IG to see what you pick up, and your DC Multiverse you said is what you pick up the most often. Do you go on hunts like I do, or are you ordering the waves, or how are you picking up the toys?
It depends on the product. I do it all. So whenever something comes out from McFarlane, usually 9 a.m. on the day it's released, I'm on McFarlaneToyStore.com and I'm picking it up there because if it comes in if it's a 4 usually it's like a 4-figure pack, right? Comes with 4 individual figures, and they go for anywhere from $19.99 to $24.99 a piece in stores. If you go on that first day at McFarlane, you'll get like 30% off if you buy all 4 at the same time. So the best price that you'll ever pay on McFarlane is on his website. Now, of course, if it's an exclusive for Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, or Entertainment Earth, you're not going to get that kind of a savings. But man, I always start with McFarlane Toy Store because you're going to get the best price when it drops for sure. And if you use capital MTS10, you're going to save 10% every time. And that's not a code that is, seasonal or anything. That's an ongoing code. So if you're not aware of that, use that every time and you pretty much get free shipping.
Man, that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to definitely I'm going to use that for sure.
Yeah,
well, I wanted to ask you what do you think is the best toy line out right now in your opinion?
I mean, well, let me show you something, man. So the best toy line is going to be
what's the best thing in production right now? What's the best thing?
They're not cheap, but Astrobots by far. You could get them on Big Bad Toy Store. The articulation is ridiculous. I don't know if you can see that. That's a joint in the finger. There's 4 different joints in the finger.
Oh wow! Like I've never had anything with finger joints on it like that. That's crazy.
It's crazy. The articulation on this is insane. The characters are dope. They stand properly. And if you haven't read Astrobots from Massive Comics, you're missing out. Simon Furman.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, don't they have comics?
They do. Yeah. So it started as a toy line, and then they wanted to create a comic book around the toy line. And they hired Simon Furman, who wrote Transformers in the UK and then wrote Transformers for many years for Marvel in general. And he's in the Transformers Hall of Fame because he was on that property for so long. And now they hired him to write Astrobots. And so they had a 5-part series this last year. In June, the second arc starts, and the comic is dope, man. So here's Apollo, here's Vulcan.
Oh, that looks awesome.
Dude, it's crazy articulation.
That is killer.
Dude, it's way killer, man. Way killer.
And I don't have any figures with like full finger articulation like that. That's crazy.
Dude, it's insane. So as far as like the best toy that you could purchase, by far Astrobots, man. But they're not cheap, man. This is, I think, $65. This one was $89. So they're not cheap. Luckily, they don't come out with too much, but they're dope, man.
Dude, what is a toy line that you wish would get made that has not been made yet? Have you ever thought about that?
Good question. I have. I mean, I'm super excited because I'm a big fan of Eric Powell, the Goon. I don't know if you've ever read the Goon, but
I've checked out the Goon.
So fun, man. It's funny. It's hilarious. It's gory. It's kind of horror / action. And they just came out with a figure of the Goon that I posted a few days ago. So that one's been taken care of. I would say that's a tough one, man.
Yeah.
I wish we could go back. I wish McFarlane would go back and produce all the Milestone figures.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome.
He did a Static Shock, but the Static Shock he did was like this futuristic version of it. No one likes it. In fact, if you go to McFarlane Toy Store right now, you could pick it up for $10 because I guess he never sold through them. But if he could go back to that early 90s and start to produce all of that entire hardware, like all of those characters, those are Icon. Dude, Icon is the same as Superman as far as powers go, but he has the intelligence as a lawyer. Like everything about Icon is so amazing. We should have a figure of him, right? So if they could go back and do that, they own the rights to it, and Todd McFarlane has the rights to everything within the DC multiverse. So I'm hoping that he will go back and do that because I think those are some of the figures that I would love to have in my collection.
Man, I think that's a phenomenal idea, and people still to this day love Milestone. I think it would work. I think it would totally work.
I think so, man. They don't get enough love for some reason. And maybe, they're going to put money where fans are at. So maybe there's not enough people that are my age that grew up with Milestone. But those characters are dope, man. They're so good. So good. Yeah.
Brian LCS, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us. We're talking toys right this second.
Good turnout, man.
Yeah, talking about, and thanks for everybody coming out this evening. I appreciate you guys. And we're talking, if you're just popping in, we're talking toy lines that we wish were made that have not been made. And I'll give you mine. I actually picked up, I found out they had Funko Pops of mine this past 2 weeks ago, and I got one for my birthday. But my pick is Captain Planet.
Oh yeah,
I
OG.
want to see a full wave of Captain Planet figures. I
That is
want Captain Planet to come back. I think
yeah.
that would be cool, man. I just think it would be. I don't know how well that they would sell. I don't know how well it would work compared to your idea. But I love Captain Planet.
Yeah, I think if they do something around the comic book again and bring that back out strong with figures, I think it could do all right, man.
Yeah,
McFarlane has those page punchers where it comes with the comic and the figure. I think that would be perfect for something like Captain Planet. That way people could get reintroduced to it that didn't grow up with Captain Planet. I think that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. And speaking of the page punchers, man, I picked up one of those last week. One of the upgrades, the new Spawn ones that come with 2 figures and the comic stand.
Yeah.
$16.99 price point. And you get the stand. You get this really nice bookmark, which I know, like you're thinking, it's just a bookmark, but it's a really, really nice, like thick bookmark. Comic stand, 2 figures. The figures they actually have some articulation. It was surprising. The paint app is much better on these than the first page punchers. I don't know. Have you picked any up? How do you feel about those? Have you checked them out?
I have them all. So I picked up all of them. In fact, the G.I. Joe and the Transformer ones are the newest ones. So McFarlane got the rights for certain things through Hasbro to utilize for page punchers. So he can't do 6 or 7-inch figures, but he could do the page punchers. So he came out with, I'll show you right here. Here's the Transformers. Here's Megatron and Optimus Prime.
Oh, man. Oh, cool. How cool is that?
And it came with 2 comic books instead of 1. So one comic book is Optimus Prime. The other one is Megatron. And this was the newest page puncher that came out. And then he came out with 2 G.I. Joe ones. One with Snake Eyes and Duke, and then one with Crimson Red and what's his name? The leader with the shield in his face, Cobra Commander. So it's incredible. Yeah. And so these came out dope. When I heard that he got the rights to it, I was wondering, are they going to really be that nice? Again, the articulation is not super great, but there is articulation, but they're probably almost 2-inch figures. So pretty cool.
It surprised me. I didn't expect anything at all, but they bend at the waist. They've been a couple different places. They have a couple different, more than I expected. So I was surprised.
Agree. And you get a comic book out of it too, man, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. The one I got was the one with She-Spawn and what was the other guy? I can't remember. It was her and another guy, and it came with Scorched issue 7, I think.
Yeah. She-Spawn is all over Scorched. She's kind of the leader. That's kind of Todd McFarlane's Avengers for Spawn.
She's one of my favorite characters. That was why I picked up that particular pack. I found 2 different ones. But yeah, I picked it up because I like her. And Scorched, I was on that run for a little while. It was pretty good. It's
okay. Yeah. It kind of fell off a little bit, but with issue 350, it's kind of rejuvenated the entire line. So all of those comics have been good. The last 2 issues again, now that there's a new person on the throne in hell. I won't give anything away if someone hasn't read 350, but I feel like there's a lot of really good energy now within Spawn, which I've always been a huge Spawn fan. But when you got 350 plus issues, man, you're going to have long runs of just really boring stuff. And we went through that a little while with Spawn. But I'm glad it's rejuvenated because it's an awesome character, man.
It's been fun. Fun. And it's still that $2.99 price point, man. You can't beat it.
Exactly. I think someone asked if it bends at the waist, and they do.
Yeah, they do absolutely bend at the waist.
And they kind of turn. You could turn it right here.
Yeah. And which is way more than I would expect out of those.
Exactly. I thought it was just going to be like just real stiff, right? Like a little statue.
Yeah. Well, did you have a chance to, at the beginning of the live stream, I was talking about probably the biggest news of the week was X-Men 97, episode 5. Have you had a chance to watch it?
So I've only watched the first 2 episodes, and then I stopped because I want to wait until, I think they're doing 8 episodes, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure, honestly. I'm not sure.
So what I like to do, because I loved it, I thought the first 2 episodes were so epic. Absolutely loved it. Gave me good goosebumps and feels of old school X-Men. So I'm going to wait, and then I'm just going to spend a Saturday and just go run through the whole thing. but I might have to break that with everything that I've heard with episode 5. I mean, you had grown men and women crying on TikTok because of it. So, all right, man, I maybe I need to break down and just go back and rewatch them again because it's been awesome. But the first 2 episodes were great.
It only gets better, man. It only gets better. I watched episode 4 a couple weeks ago and was pretty blown away. And I wouldn't have imagined that episode 5 would be that much better. And was just blown away once again, dude. It's blown away and crying at the same time. So it was that good. So
I'm glad, man. I think Marvel needed that kind of energy because they've gotten a lot of bad rap with a lot of stuff they've produced lately. So I'm happy for Marvel. Marvel, I think, deserves to have a property like that that's kind of rocking on all cylinders. And then, we're getting the 3 new titles here coming up in May and June. So I feel like things are going to kind of ramp up around X-Men, and I'm hoping that we'll get into another rhythm of amazing X-Men comics.
And now how do you feel about, because it's not, most of the titles don't have like big names attached to them. Are you excited for this new wave of X-Men that we're going to be getting?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the names as far as writers that I would like to see, man. Like if you already have Hickman, why wouldn't you put him on an X-Men book? Stuff like that. I think they maybe could have done. I'm sure it was offered, and maybe he's like, nah, I've checked that box. Like you never know what's going on behind the scenes. Right. But I always give everything a shot. So I'll give it probably 2 or 3 issues, and then I'll make my decision whether I keep that in my pull list. But out of all the names, Gail Simone, I haven't loved everything she's written, but I've loved most of what she's written. And if you look at like Wonder Woman, I don't think anybody's had a more positive impact on Wonder Woman than Gail Simone. You look at Red Sonja and what she did with Red Sonja. She could write, man, So I feel pretty good. I think she's on the main title, The Uncanny, if I'm not mistaken. I actually had Tom Brevoort on the podcast about 3 weeks ago. And as you know, he ran Avengers for 26 years. And because X-Men is so important, they moved him over to X-Men. So he's leading that entire team, and he's picking and choosing who's writing and who's on art. So I had a blast talking to him for almost 2 hours, man.
I bet that was an amazing conversation.
This guy is a walking encyclopedia of Marvel comics. I made a comment to him. I said, hey, I've heard through the grapevine, and it really came from Joe Quesada, who used to be the president of Marvel, I think, 8 years ago? And he was on Miller Time with Mark Millar. He said Tom Brevoort is a walking encyclopedia. So I made that comment to Tom. I said, Tom, someone out there in Comicverse called you the walking encyclopedia. He rattled through issues 1 through 40 of Fantastic Four of every main thing that happened in every single issue. And he goes, you want me to keep going? And I said, dude, you go if you want, man, but this is crazy. Literally listen to it one by one. Issue 1 is this. Issue 2 is what? Issue 3. Dude, he went through the whole thing, man. So, yeah, he is brilliant, man. You might not agree with everything he does, but this guy loves Marvel. He's passionate about Marvel, and he knows his stuff, man.
That is insane.
Yeah.
And can people go back and watch that? Is that something we can go back and watch?
Oh yeah. All my stuff is on my YouTube, so you go back and watch everything I've ever done. You'll see, man, how terrible it was on my end from the very beginning. And just like you, Scotty, man, you've been doing this for a while, bro. So you're like a professional at it. It takes time to kind of get used to talking to people and doing that kind of stuff. So I'm still working on it. We all are, bro. We all are, man. But it was awesome. But yeah, Tom Brevoort was on. I think it's about a 2-hour podcast because I told him, I said, hey, I want to be very respectful for your time. We usually go about 45 minutes. He goes, 45 minutes is not going to be enough time for this conversation. We'll go as long as you want, Tom. And we did, bro.
Of course. Absolutely. I would go as long as he was willing to go, man.
Agree, man. Agree. It was awesome, bro. I was, sometimes you get in front of people like that and you're just kind of dumbfounded, man. I can't believe I'm talking to the guy that was behind Avengers. Like every Avenger movie was based on a title that he was the lead editor for. Mark Millar. I mean, you go through the whole line of all these amazing writers, man. He was at the forefront of that. And it was just awesome to talk to somebody who's had that kind of an impact on comic books that have impacted my love for comic books. It's awesome, bro.
Oh man, I would have been a nervous wreck. I'll be honest.
Yeah. I am, man. Like the day before, I'm writing all kinds of notes. I'm trying to be super respectful and not ask kind of gotcha questions or things that might, put someone in a corner. Like I put
Yeah.
a lot of time into those kind of interviews just because I want people to feel comfortable, and I want them to be open to come back and know that, hey,
Yeah.
he did me right. Right. And so,
Well, and out of respect for that person, they're giving you time out of their lives, and you want to respect that person and come with as good a questions as you possibly can and be as prepared as you possibly can. I
100%.
get that. I get that.
100%. Yeah. I think McFarland was the most nervous I've ever been, just because
Yes. Oh my God. Oh
the
my God,
impact that
man.
he's had on my love for collecting figures, comic books, his Spider-Man run, the art that he did was just, that's really what captured me in the late 80s, early 90s. He
Dang.
blew me away, and I've been in love with this guy's work ever since.
Dang.
And man, I was just blown away. And he was the kindest, most down-to-earth person you could ever talk to. Got on the podcast. Tommy, what's up, man? How you doing? Like he knew me or something. I was like shooken by that. Like, oh shit.
And
So
it's cool. I was watching a documentary just the other day about Todd McFarlane, and he's huge into baseball,
oh,
which I can identify with because I come from a baseball family. My brother played college baseball. My dad was always a baseball coach. I used to work for a minor league baseball team. It's like baseball is in it's intertwined in my family, so
yeah,
I could identify with his love for baseball. For sure.
yeah. Dude, the guy spent crazy amounts of money on all those home run balls. Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire.
Like
It's
$3
incredible.
million on a baseball, $3 million on one ball. That's
Mhm.
crazy.
He said, though, if he didn't do that, he would have never got the rights to MLB, NHL, NFL for all of his figures. So he said that
Yeah.
$3 million investment in a baseball has paid off. And if you kind of Google what his net worth is, it's about $250 to $300 million today. So McFarlane Toys exploded after he bought that baseball because he was able to pick up all the rights to all the major sports teams.
Yeah, they were finally willing to take a look at him and take him
Yeah,
seriously. Yeah, that was so interesting. Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy,
there's
man.
some really good stuff about him. But circling back about Kingsville, man, I want to talk about. I definitely want to talk about that some more before you have to go. When do you think roughly issue 3 will drop?
So we just finished page 8, and each comic's between 24 and 28 pages almost.
Okay.
I think this
Yeah.
last one was 28. So this one will
Yeah.
probably be around 28 as well. So we're almost halfway done with issue 3. I'll be
Nice.
doing a Kickstarter at the end of May. When I do my Kickstarters, I like to be almost done because I don't want people to wait 5-6 months for their comic books. So this last time, I think it was 5 weeks and everyone had their comic books. And the only reason why it was 5 weeks is because the printer made a mistake. On the back of the comic book, they put the same back with the same UPC on each of the covers. So we had to redo them again, or I would have been sooner. But, they were awesome to work with. I used Comic Wellspring, and, they obviously immediately fixed it and sent out comic books. But, it took another week and a half, almost 2 weeks. But outside of that, I want people to get their stuff. When I go into Walmart and I purchase something, I get everything when I purchase that day and I walk out. Same with Amazon. It comes in like 2 days. So I'm never going to be that fast, but I want, when it ends, I want to be serious about it and make sure that people get their, their comic that they purchase. I think that's really important and in a timely manner. And then the money that we make off of that, it never pays for what it costs. Just to give you an idea, it costs me about $3,700 per issue just in art alone.
Wow.
So that's why I do the
no money.
lettering, because I got to save money somewhere.
Yeah.
And if I'm doing a Kickstarter and I make $2,500, that means I put about, almost 2,000 into it myself, 1,500 to 2,000, which is okay, right? This is my love. This is my passion. I want to get it out there. And I'm trying to build something that over time will pay for itself.
Of course.
But it's a huge investment. And that's why I said 4 and see if we can, at least break even. If I break even, we'll keep going. But if I don't, we'll see what happens, man,
I hope that you do keep going, man. And I hope it's successful because I thoroughly enjoyed issue 1 and I can't wait for issue 2. And anybody that's debating whether or not they should check it out, that's watching right now, definitely pick up issue 1, give it a try. I think you're gonna like it. I really do. I think you guys will really like it.
I appreciate it. Let me show you if it's okay, Scotty. I have
Show anything you want, man. Show us anything you want.
I appreciate it, brother. This is so Will Torres is an artist that worked for Marvel, and he worked for Dynamite, and he's worked for all kind Opus. He did a cover for me. This is I call it my clean cover. This is the team. That's Dr. Derrickson and the superhero team. And then we did another one. We called
that a lot. That was really cool.
Yeah, and then we call this the bloody version. So we have the clean version and the bloody version. This has blood splattered all over it. And if you read the comic, you know why, right? Everybody in the world sees this, but in reality, this is what they are. So he did these two for me, which I'm super excited about. Issue 3 is going to be done by Omar Francia. Look him up on Instagram, Omar, and it's Francia. He's worked for DC, Marvel, Dynamite, Dark Horse. He's done a lot of amazing work. If you look up his name, you'll see his work. This guy is phenomenal artist, and he's doing a cover for me for issue 3 with a brand new character that will be revealed at the very end of issue 3. You don't want to miss this. This character is badass. You're going to really enjoy this character. I don't want to give anything away, but don't miss it. And that will be kind of one of my variants. And then I'm going to do a contest where I'm going to pay someone the $300 for the cover. And they're going to get a bunch of free stuff from me if they're chosen as the artist for my variant for issue 3 as well. So in the next couple of days, I'm going to reveal that on Instagram. I'm going to throw that out there, and I'll pay you, but we're going to let the fans vote on who the winner is. So I'm going to have people submit art on the cover, and then we'll do like a contest where all the fans get to pick which artist wins, and then I'll pay that artist like I do any other artist, and then they'll get a bunch of free cool stuff from me out of my collection.
Man, that is an absolutely amazing idea. There are some great artists watching this live stream right now who would do amazing variant covers. So many really good artists in this comic book, in this community. So if any of you guys are watching, man, any of you artists that are watching right now, Pops, Drac, I think Norin Rad, who's the guest on Between the Lines this evening, he's an amazing artist. Any of those, Izzy, any of those people can absolutely tear up a comic cover, man. They'll do an amazing cover.
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah. So, I'll let you pick out of all my superhuman characters. You pick the one that you want for the cover and go to town, man.
Dude, Roscoe, Geek Out with Roscoe would do a killer cover. He's a great artist. There's so many good artists come to mind, man. I'm glad you're doing that. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I love independent comic books. I think about 65% of all my money is spent on Kickstarter and independent comic books. I think the best stories in comics right now are coming on the indie side of things. Not that I don't love Marvel and DC, but man, I just love indie. So let's give back, man. Let's get these indie artists some more work and throw their name out there, man.
I love it. Well, is there anything else that we got a couple minutes left? Is there anything else that you wanted to mention while you're still here?
No, I mean, check me out. Give me a follow on YouTube. We'd love to have you over there on the podcast. We'd love to have you on IG. IG is kind of my biggest and probably where I spend a lot of my time. I do have a TikTok that does pretty well, but who knows what's happened with TikTok anymore? I don't even know. I didn't want to know. So I spend a lot of my time on IG. I think with the amount of money they spend in government and lobbying, I feel like they're going to be around a while. So that's a safe place to kind of grow your following. But yeah, I'm kind of everywhere. It's World at War Comics on every platform you could think of. X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, I'm on it. And then obviously YouTube at World at War Comics. If you do want to try Kingsville, I have issue 1 and issue 2 on my TikTok shop. Just go to TikTok at World at War Comics. You can purchase it there. I ship super fast. You get free stickers, all kinds of stuff. Or you could go to worldatwarcomics.com. You could purchase it there. There I got sweaters that say World at War Comics. I have Collapse and Snapback, and I have a new one with Death Day, which is this character right here. But yeah, it's all over, man. I got hats, everything. You name it, I got it, man.
And then you got some awesome podcasts coming up.
Yeah, I do, man.
All kinds of stuff going. Well, that's awesome, man. I know you're extremely busy, so I'm very grateful that you came through to hang out with me again. I really appreciate you. It's always so fun, and the time always flies by because, like I said, man, me and you, we're both comic collectors. We're both toy collectors. I could talk to you all day long, dude. It's always a blast.
I love it, Scott, man. I really appreciate you. Congratulations on all your success as well with
Thank
your
you.
channel. And
Thank you.
I love coming on, man. You put out some amazing content, so I appreciate you.
Thank
And thanks
you.
for everybody that stopped by. Nice meeting all of you.
Man. The chat was awesome tonight. The chat was blowing up. It was a great time.
Love it.
Really cool people in the chat tonight, and I appreciate you guys. Be sure to go check out Thomas, like he was saying, worldatwar.com. Pick up Kingsville.
Worldatwarcomics.com. Yeah.
World at War Comics. My mistake. Sorry.
All good, Scotty. All good, brother.
Worldatwarcomics.com. And be sure to pick up Kingsville Issue 1. Check out those podcasts. He has some amazing podcasts. And follow him on IG. He's always posting his toy pickups, comic book pickups, and keeping us up to date on what's going on with World at War Comics. Thomas, thank you so much, man. And thank you all thanks to everybody in the chat. Thank you to any of you guys that come through and catch the replay later. I really appreciate it. Next week, we'll have kind of a young dude in the community. He just got started doing comic book reviews, and I wanted to give him a chance to meet some people and grow his channel. And it's really important that we have young comic book readers. So we have these young people coming in and buying books and frequenting the shops. And it's not just us. If it's just us, like middle-aged people, it's gonna die out eventually. So the young people are important, man. So I want to get this guy on. I want to show him some love and just have a good time and talk to him about comic books and just have a good time next week. So I hope you guys can come back out next Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. But for now, Roscoe's got an awesome show. They got artist Norin Rad. I think he has Phil's Treehouse as his co-host, and they're gonna draw some amazing art over there as they always do. So be sure to head on over to Roscoe's channel, Geek Out with Roscoe. Thomas, anything you want to say before I click over to our Biggie video and end it?
No, just thank you, Sky. I really appreciate you, man. Love your channel. And thanks for everyone that joined us today. Love this community. And yeah, see you next time.
Awesome. See you guys next week. Later, y'all.
Later.
I'd say that one is a banger, man. It's a real certified banger, dude.